What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on the channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about the opportunity to rent right now. I mean, obviously, I think we know the rental market specifically for Chaos Legion, the Chaos Legion core set, and the reward cards. I mean, there's too many cards out there as it is, so those are going for relatively cheaply. But you can see here, shout out to Ventura, who put together a deck on Peak Monster. Shout out to Peak Monsters as well in the deck builder. There is a deck here that essentially has all of Chaos, Rift Watchers, all of Chaos rewards, and then, of course, all of the promo cards included for Chaos as part of this deck at maxed level. And what you can see here, now it is missing 3 cards, but what you can see here is that's about 3,200 DEC, right? So I don't know what the math is on that, but with DEC being roughly, we'll just say 0.00075 or something. Oh, perfect. Okay, so we'll just make it an easy, like 3/4. So that'll put you at about $2.40, right? $2.40 that you would have to pay to rent the entire thing, right? A couple cards might be missing, but that would get you the entire, the entirety of Chaos Legion, which could probably get you relatively far. You wouldn't need everything, right? So keep in mind that the way that this is set up, you still get to pick whichever cards that you want. If I was to click on this, I don't know, it's not opening now, but either way, you can still pick and choose. So what I'm trying to get at here is, okay, you can get pretty much all of the last set, which is part of Modern, for 3,200. Now you can also go and get some of the maxed diamond for Rebellion. Now you can see here this only has 55 out of 87 cards. It's over 10,000 DEC, so it's not worthwhile. And at this point, you probably don't need every single card in Rebellion, although it could be helpful. There's probably going to be certain cards that are part of the meta. On top of that, if you wanted to rent and you were willing to rent SPS and you were willing to pay whatever the premium is right now, which I think is like 0.005 DEC per SPS. If you do that, I think your bids usually get taken pretty fast or filled pretty fast. For every 100,000 DEC, I believe the math, every 100,000 SPS, it would only be 500 DEC, right? So I was calculating this earlier. If you wanted to get to that 10x multiplier that we are so used to, you would and get 400,000 SPS, for example, which would put you at the 10x multiplier for Diamond or Champion. You would have to pay like 2,000 DEC. So all in all, right, if we just look at this and say, okay, 3,200 DEC here, maybe another 2,000 DEC for SPS, maybe a couple thousand more DEC for Rebellion. And again, I'm being kind of loose with this because it's just like you don't need everything for Chaos Legion and you don't need everything for Rebellion. You can be very, picky and choosy about what it is that you go for. If you have, though, if you go with that, you could probably rent for, I don't know. Again, it all depends on what you want. But I would say that the minimum would probably be around 5,000 DEC. You could probably go as high as 10,000 DEC, right? Just depending on where you're at. But what I want to take a look at here is you could really measure and see the value of that. So let's go over to VetV. Shout out to Brandon. Now, at the top of the leaderboard, you can see it's not just him, making 41 SPS per game. Now, to put this in context, and I'm just going to get my calculator out. Sorry, you can't see it, but like 41 SPS times SPS being at 1.3 cents, right, is 53 cents per win times 12 wins per day. That gets you to $6.40. Now, if I convert that into DEC, right, so divide that by 0.00075, that gets us to 8,500 DEC. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Right now, the amount that the top player in the game is earning is 8,500 DEC, or 8,500 DEC's worth of SPS. If you were to convert that SPS or sell that SPS for DEC immediately at this price, and again, assuming where DEC is about 25% below peg. So that gives you actually a significant amount of wiggle room if you can get to the top. Now, if you go, we'll just say like the middle of the pack here, around like the 50 or so range. I'm trying to see if there's like a name that I can recognize here. All right, nobody's jumping out, so I'm just going to go straight to number 50, right? This is the last leaderboard spot. I don't know how much this person has staked in terms of SPS, but you can see here for ranked battles, Where are the ranked battles? Or are they not doing any ranked battles? All right, that was a terrible pick. So no ranked battles here for the number 50th position. Those are all tournaments. So let's go down to 51. So here, let's see how much they are earning. And 25 SPS, right? So I don't want to do the math on that, but like 25, just do 25 over 40 SPS, for example, 62% times 8,500. They're making about 5,300 worth of DEC, right? 5,300 worth of DEC. So again, is it perfect right now with where the level of SPS is at and where, the amount of DEC winnings or rental costs are at? It could be. It all just depends on what it is that you need. If you already have cards and you've started collecting, well, all of a sudden that number starts to go down significantly. So I'm at a point where I've actually started renting out some cards just to see how it goes. And for me, it's just like, well, I could throw in like a couple of bucks and buy whatever card I needed for Chaos Legion, max out, some random card, right? Like, what's a good example? Oh, like Deep Lurker, right? I could max out my Deep Lurker. I have one at level 8, and getting one to level 10 will cost me a couple bucks. Or I could just spend like a couple cents per day, right? Just take it out of my earnings and just roll with that for right now. So I've been slowly testing that out, where it's just like I'm starting to use rentals more, and since I own quite a bit, I'm already set, right? And I'm good on the SPS side, whatever. But if somebody was coming in scratch, there is still an opportunity to not just break even, but actually come out ahead. Now, what we need is for this gap to widen significantly, right? So it would be fantastic if SPS were to go up multiples, right? Because all of a sudden, even if DEC were to go back up to peg, which is something that I want, right? So I'm not saying that we should have DEC this low, but if DEC were to go up to peg, right, that would be a 33% gain from here. If SPS were to do a 2x, which would literally be going from like 1.3 to 2.5, 2.6 cents, right? Which again, that's not, we're all going to the moon, everybody's rich, but all of a sudden the economics become better, right? Because the cost of rental at that point, assuming everything stays the same in DEC, the cost of rental from a US dollar perspective only goes up 33%, but the cost of the rewards that you get goes up 200% or 100%. So, this is what I'm trying to get at here. This is what I'm following very closely. I think as the economics change, and that's not guaranteed, but if they do over time, and let's assume that we get into a bull run or the releases that come in help to push DEC back up to peg, help to push SPS a little bit higher, then obviously it will make sense for new players coming in to just come in and rent, right? The big kind of, X factor in all this is how easy the one-click set rentals go for, and more importantly, what people decide to price those at. Because right now, as I said, you can go into Peak Monsters and essentially see everything there for 3,200, DEC, which again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad price, but overall, like, well, how is the experience? Are you able to get everything? And, will people want to put together these, card sleeves or one-click set rentals, however they end up designing it? So that's the number that I'm following. I just want to let you guys know I'm also starting to rent some cards out, to rent cards myself, right? Not just renting them out to other people. And I think it could get interesting, right? Because I'm able to climb up Modern a little bit more. I'm still in Gold, so it's not anything, to write home about. But at the end of the day, I see the rewards going up. I see, my experience has been better overall. And the economics make sense for me because it's just like, oh, okay, I'm making, X amount of SPS per win. If I can do that every single day, then I can afford to, spend and get another one of these summoners or another card at max level and just start renting that daily, right? And especially if it's going to come in handy. Now, will I ever convert that to buying? I don't know, maybe at some point, but right now I'm just not in the mood to be buying. I'm not like, it'll cost me dollars, right? Maybe even tens of dollars to max out certain cards. And at this point, I'm happy paying pennies, like literal pennies. If we just go over here, I'll show you the rental market for Chaos Legion on the max level side. I'm very happy to just be paying pennies for this stuff and see how the experience goes. But we'll go ahead and close out with this. And again, you don't need everything, right? And everything may not even be available in certain cases. But you know, the fact that you can get a lot of these legendaries for under 10 cents a day is crazy. And then probably even more important, and I'm just looking at, well, I guess I'm looking at everything here. But, you know, if we go all the way down to the bottom, let's just go to like the common cards. All right, for example, and this is going to include like the rewards. So if you look at this max level Pelacor Bandit going for $0.0001 per day, right? Like I mean, these are fractions of a penny here. And then you get into Chaos Legion, and of course Rift Watcher is going to probably be a little bit more expensive overall. But you know, at the end of the day, I think the math behind it is starting to work. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That is all I have for you guys in this video. Just wanted to share that experience and that perspective, but I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.